I think this way is cooler. Well, hello there. Welcome to my studio, / we're gonna do a sketchbook tour. This is where the magic happens. Sometimes, actually it's everywhere. Everywhere the magic happens. This is why I don't talk on camera, because I don't know what to say and it feels really weird. So let's get to it. Okay, so this is my sketchbook. I use Stonehenge paper, so that's at the bottom. I really prefer this type of paper. It's thick, but it's smooth. It's a hot press paper, and it holds watercolor well when done in very light washes. You can't saturate the paper will buckle, but it is a nice little multimedia paper that I really love using. It's usually used in printmaking a lot of times, but drawing also really nice and prime. So anyway, I started this sketchbook back in December 2018. I found that out by looking at Instagram and seeing when I posted this first image. And then start. The first page was this beauty. Very similar to most of my older style, where I did a lot of little cross hatching. There's a little bit, this is not as extreme. This piece, what excited me and what I really enjoyed was this little portion of the face, the nose and how the lips work together. The rest I actually think is a disaster. So this is where I was starting. I kind of continued with that theme. I drew a pretty lady with some moths. Really focus. I like doing tiny little details, so there's little lays. I really love the cross hatching, putting eyelashes. It was nice, but it felt like there's still things missing, and so I've been adding lots of elements in, but things don't feel fluid yet. I did hair like this for a really long time, where it's just the lines through. It's fun, but it also gets old real quick, and I didn't seem to give much life or add something to the piece. So let's continue. The next one was just one that I thought was funny. So in all my drawings, you'll notice majority of my pieces don't have an iris or pupil. They tend to be very blank eyes. And so I just did a whole piece of eyes. And it just kind of created this little flower thing, and I really enjoyed just doing something different. Didn't focus with the face or the figure. Oh, it was just eyes. Moving on. This piece never finished. Really, it felt boring. It was repeating the same face I've done. I thought it'd be fun to throw in a little bit of Copic marker with the ribbon, adding a little bit more color to the faces, because that seemed to be adding something at this point. So I really wanted to just test it out and see what I thought. This is where things change pretty drastically. Going through my studio, I found that I had one of those I had a bunch of red lead. And so I thought, load up a pencil and let's give this a try. So this piece was just done all in the red lead. I only wanted to play with that. See if I just going back to drawing with pencil more so, but not the graphite pencil of grays, and see if that would bring something to life. This piece was actually fairly changing for me within my practice recently. Like, this piece is only a couple months old. I'm in this weird, fun development stage. But I really enjoyed doing this. This kind of played off the other bunch of eyes, threw some pupils in. This is not normal. This part does not stay throughout the rest. But it just really excited me to do something different. I could get more tone values without all the cross hatching. Because cross hatching, after a while, I like things to be very dark and very contrast. It would get too built up and not look right. So let's continue. This piece went through multiple changes. If you look back, I have ones that this piece was also just a red piece. It didn't have all these colors to it. I actually came back and reworked this piece because I love her face right here. The back of the head's a little weird, but I really love her face here, and I love these leaves. It was a lot of fun. This is when things start getting exciting. I actually cut this next piece out, so it's just kind of laying in here, but she is just so pretty. I decided to take out my watercolors and I wanted to see how her face would turn out, doing a little bit more subtle shading instead of the harsh red. And I threw a little bit of purple in there. I tried to keep it very, very light, and I wanted to really focus on what black lines I put in there had a lot of purpose, was not just to fill the page, which is something I like to do. So the piece after this was also a piece that started in all red, but I added to it. This is where I brought a little bit more watercolor pencil in and started putting blues on top of my reds, really kind of darkening them, deepening them, trying to create more shadow within, and just playing around with little bit designs, these little weird colors that all of a sudden started coming into my work. I like how her hair turned out, but still isn't, there's not enough contrast yet. Like it's getting there. Things are feeling better. Things are feeling more right. This is where I really start just gaining speed. The next few drawings are not necessarily done in chronological order. I started getting excited and I drew a bunch of sketches first, and then I just kind of worked at them all at the same time. This is another piece that's in a lot of red. I feel like she looks better when she's at this angle. I tend to do that where I flip my sketchbook the wrong way. I also like to work on multiple things at once. So I just did a neck of flowers and really played with, you know, pushing the subtleties in the face, watercolor first, color pencil afterwards. I like her hair because I tend to have big crazy hair that goes everywhere. This piece was a success until I added the blue. I really was excited by this piece, the face pushing forward, this weird crown, neck, headpiece thing. The flowers were pink, you can kind of see it if you really get up in there. And I thought it needed more contrast, and so I decided, well, let's pull out the blue. A little too much, just a little too much. I started also adding more and more circles to the face, kind of defining out where things are. I really like the idea of land points. This next piece I'm just so happy with. Even though this one doesn't push the contrast, there's these little bit of delicacies that really happen here. I'm gonna zoom in again because it is just so pretty. Look at that face. The face and the lips in this one turned out great, and I really liked how these ruffles turned out. They're really nice. And the other one that I say that's the complement to that piece, just because I love creating work that looks at itself, I would like to put those two together with this one. This is also playing with those, just the little circles built up on top of each other that kind of remind me of coral. And her face is also nice and subtle and pretty with the little circles. I like to play with like the dark and the light together. This is another one. She's fun. I tried to push the contrast a little bit more with her. I also was drawing this on an angle, so things kind of got a little lopsided on her, but I still really liked it. I like the cuff of ruffles around her neck. I also like this idea of like when you put a scarf on, how your hair kind of flows out of it and pulls. It's just really appealing to me. Playing with that, threw some more flowers in. I really liked how the other piece turned out with the purple flowers, so challenging myself to draw some more. Also, her face made me so excited. This is kind of, I think, what kept me drawing more and more. It was just so pretty. And the lips turned out perfect. This is not normal for me. I was not used to not using black for everything. So these subtleties of the purples and the pinks really worked well together. I still wish the background of this was black. I feel like that would make it really pop at you. This next one went through a couple transitions. She had red hair at one point, and then she looked like a clown and I couldn't handle it, so I covered her hair black, but since there was color pencil underneath it, it actually created a nice texture of the hair that it gives it a little bit more life to it. And then just for fun, threw in some lace around the top of the head. This collar here, it's okay. It's not the best. This piece was just nice to get done. This piece, I was trying to figure out, this is before everything, you know what's gonna happen if you follow me on Instagram. the red hair is still going through, but I wanted more contrast. It still felt too light, so this one went through multiple phases, where at first it only had 2 flowers, and I added more flowers, and I added some leaves, and then I added these black leaf shapes behind it. There's a lot of successes in this piece, but there's also a lot of failures. She's still really pretty. Yes, and I call my work pretty. This is another one. I've done this face so many times. It's memorable. I really like long necks, so just another piece. Playing around, really focusing on my shadows. This is the game changer for the black hair. The other one was not completed yet when I started this one. I originally had red hair started to come down, and it was all too light, there was so much missing. So I pulled out one of my black markers and started just going down, giving her hair this loose, messy waviness, and it really popped that face forward. It created that contrast I was really wanting. It also kind of pushes back to more of the work I tend to make with my love of black and white, or black and grays, or whatever illustrations. This one's not so successful. Her eyes are a little scary, but practice makes perfect. This following piece, I love. I kind of brought it down a little too much. It probably should have been a little more centered. These sketchbooks are 7 by 7 inches, so you only got so much room to work, but very convenient to take with you. It's just, I went back to my snakes, bringing them on through, thinking about scarves, thinking about them wrapping, being part of the person, but also interacting with them. Nice hand there. I really like how those knuckles turned out. That finger got a little weird, but the knuckles are really great. Here's another person who just cracks me up. I think it got a little too, I don't know, I think of almost like Tudor history with the crazy collars, and just the hand on the neck. It just feels so ladylike, but it was also another fun piece to draw. This one is inspiring a whole series. I am so excited to draw this following series of things and mouths. Sounds a little ambiguous, but this piece excited some part of me that has kind of felt dead for a little bit. I've been drawing because I feel like the practice of constantly making is beneficial to the overall practice. But when things all of a sudden happen where you're inspired, it can start something whole brand new. I'm really excited by this piece. And it's been a long time. If you notice, I have quite a few of these where the necks are actually connected to bodies. I've kind of separated those for many years within my practice, but they're starting to be brought together again. She also had really successful shading on her cheekbones, her neck, clavicle, shoulders. I love this piece. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in. This next piece is okay. It reminded me of Sheila from Glow because the little tiny curls. If you know the show on Netflix, it definitely has that going for it. I was trying something new see if I could start, putting some florals on the skin. It was not successful, but still practice. This next one is mixing my old style and the new one. Throwing a snake in there, some black hair, and a nice face. It all pops with contrast. It's really playing to its strengths. I was really happy with this piece. I'm actually wanting to cut this out and mount it onto a separate piece. I'm going to create a background for this piece. I want this to be a completed drawing, not just something in my sketchbook. This next one's okay, kind of played. I like the idea of almost these confronting girls staring straight at you. You can't see their eyes, but there's also vulnerability. I like playing with a bunch of emotions occurring within the piece. little circles. It's a terrible flower, but whatever. And this is the last one. I threw some scales along her neck and the bottom of her jaw. She has the weird ruffle thing in her hair. This one, it's nothing special, but it's the end of this sketchbook to move to something else really exciting. I already have my other sketchbook started. There's a bunch of pencil drawings in here already. I have like 6 drawings already started, nothing finished, but I am really, really excited. So thank you for watching this video. See you later. This is weird.